Hello everyone, welcome back for some more Lo-Fi Yoga, where sometimes we have to be about that action. So before we get into our conversation for today, let's go ahead and take a deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 3, 2, 1, and breathe out, 2, 3, 4. So, this video is actually my second time doing yoga outside, and you'll see throughout the video that I kind of struggle with the outside being outside, and it wasn't bad. It was just an adjustment, I guess. There's like ants crawling on my mat, and like leaves kept blowing onto my mat, and I was like putting my hands on the ground and having to like brush away the rocks and stuff, but it was still really nice to be outside in the fresh air. And there was sun, but I wasn't directly in the sun, so it was nice. That's always nice, to be outside and not be in like fully outside, you know what I mean? I'm rambling, but I guess this video is sort of symbolic of a departure for me from what I've been doing for so long. And I keep talking about like transition and change and everything like that, and I've sort of been lingering in the doorway between two parts of my life, I guess you could say. And I've been half in, half out for so long now, and I'm finally making the decision to move forward and actually step through the doorway instead of just lingering like I have been for so long. And I just am proud of myself for finally making that decision to move forward. I feel like I've been so stuck in survival mode and always having to make decisions based off of things as they come up, instead of making a decision based on something long term. I think that's a symbol, not a symbol, more of like a symptom of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not going to speak for everyone who has autism, and henceforth autism will be referred to as Agatha, just so you guys know. Like WandaVision, it was Agatha all along. That's how I feel about autism. Like there's always something new that I'm like, oh, that's what that was that? Oh, okay. That's not just the personality trait, that's like a symptom. Oh, okay. But anyway, there is definitely, from what I've seen, more than one person at least who's agreed that they had the idea that maybe they wouldn't live that long, and so they never planned for the future because they didn't think that they would have one. And I could definitely say that combined with having to function in survival mode for several years, I guess at this point, it just sort of never occurred to me to think long term and to actually say I'm going to do this now for a future payoff. It was always, I have to do this now because I need money now, or I'm going to do this now because I need this thing now because I have no choice. And now I'm actually in a place where I can make a choice and have like planting the seed and actually waiting and letting it grow to harvest it later, instead of having to skip all of that process and just get the fruit. I can actually have a garden of sorts, and so I'm trying to garden and plant my seeds, and that's uncharted territory for me. I've just never had like long-term plans and actually follow through on them like I am So it's just so weird. It's just weird. And I'm trying to roll with it, trying to grow with it. And I'm also doing laundry right now, so I'm just gonna have to like circle back in just a second. It's just me moving into uncharted territory at this point in my life. Also, I apologize for the shuffling sounds. I am doing my weekly tarot spread and laundry and everything else while I have time. But yeah, I'm like on a journey trying to figure out something new, and I'm a little nervous because I don't know how it's going to turn out, considering that I spent, 10 years dedicated to baking and the pastry arts, and all of that culminated in me finding out that I have a gluten intolerance and am therefore completely allergic to the career field that I chose straight out of high school, that I thought was going to be my thing forever. And if ever there was a sign from the universe that you were doing something that is not for you, I think it would be literally being allergic to the entire job, like the basis of the job. Like thinking back to the one bread job that I had, bread baking job, I was up at like 2 a.m. I had to get there at 2 a.m. and I would leave at like 10, 11, unless it was a holiday, and then I was leaving at I was getting in at 10 and leaving at 1 the next day. But I was literally baking in a mask for like 3 years because every time the flour would start flying in the air, I was sneezing, my eyes were watering, nose running, could not function. And it didn't occur to me that, the reason why is because I was actually allergic to the flour and my entire job, And I laugh every time I think about it now because, what? it's just funny that something that I thought I always wanted to do was just so completely wrong. And I am a little nervous about trying to change course at this point in my life. I'm actually going to be 32 soon. Yay me. And the idea of having to completely reroute my life and my career path is just terrifying on a certain level. And I'm nervous that, maybe I'm choosing something else that's not right for me. Like something's gonna come up down the line and I'm gonna find out, oh no, I can't actually do that either, for some, just something. But I don't regret the 10 years that I spent baking, because baking made me happy. It really did, and it still does. I do occasionally make like gluten-free things for myself, and that was something that made me happy at a point in time. And I realized how strong I was through baking and how capable I am, and that I'm good under pressure. And in spite of never getting to the point of being in significant leadership position, I basically was in every way except for title and financial compensation. That's a whole other can of beans and franks that I'm not going to get into. I don't really want to talk about my work experience, considering work is not really my friend. Work has never been kind to me, but it is what it is, and it was what it was. But doing that job, showed me qualities in myself that I probably wouldn't have found otherwise. And at the time that I made that decision, I honestly couldn't think of anything else I would have liked to be doing. I couldn't see myself doing anything else but baking. I'd always been, even when I was a kid, like I used to, tell me if you used to do this, I used to take my mom's like perfume, her like lotion, body wash, and like baby powder, and like mix it together and like make stuff. And she would get so mad at me because there would be a random container in the fridge with like something that smelled like her perfume in it, and she would just get so mad at me. But like, of course, now when I started baking, she was like, well, now it makes sense why you were doing that, because you were always meant to make things. And I don't regret my decision at all to pursue that career. And it was beneficial to me for the time that I did it. And like I said, there are skills that I can take away from that experience that I can carry over into this new venture. My time management skills and everything like that. Whatever. This isn't a resume, but it's not a job interview, it's not a resume. But I did learn things, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like I didn't get something positive out of the experience. Just as an aside, I am doing my weekly tarot spread that I always do, and I always start with finding the world card. In this deck, it's called the Universe, which I love, and this deck is so beautiful. It is the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. This was my first tarot deck. I've had it for 2 years now, and it's my main deck that I use. And in the little booklet, it had like a little thing that said, oh, if you want to know what the universe has to say to you, or what the universe is trying to tell you, you find that card and you take the 2 cards before and the 2 cards after. And I literally have been shuffling this whole time, and I just went to search for it, and like 2 cards in, there it is. But anyway, what was I saying? I completely got sidetracked by the cards. So anyway, new ventures, right? I'm trying to find my way through and I'm trying to move forward in a new direction, and I'm nervous and just trying to take it as it is and embrace the moment that I'm in, because how often is it that you get to completely restart, like burn it all down and start from the beginning? It's nerve-wracking, like I said, because I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I made that decision to be a baker when I was straight out of high school. I was only 17, and I literally I graduated in May, and I started culinary school July? Yeah, July. I went straight into it, and I don't regret a second of it. Not even with, the way that things turned out with my roommate and all the drama with that, and that all aside, I still don't regret a second of it. And so I'm going to take that same energy for this new venture that I'm trying to get onto, and I'm just trying to look forward and hope for the best. And I guess it's been over a decade since the last time I was in this position, so I really don't know what to expect, and I've never done anything like what I'm doing now, ever. And I guess I'm just trying to enjoy it and appreciate it for what it is. And, I'm trying to also read the cards and talk at the same time, so that's why I'm stopping and starting. This is interesting. I'll just tell you guys what I got. So for the universe or the world spread, I have the Nine of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Strength, and the Queen of... In this deck it's torches, but wands is the more common. It's a very nice spread, I think, especially for what I'm talking about, so it's perfect. It's very much in tune with what I was just talking about. And that's interesting to me. Not even mad. And I've definitely been feeling, I've said this before, the universe is speaking to me at all times, and I'm happy to listen to the universe and what the universe is saying. I'm one of those people who's like, it's a sign. Everything is a sign. I don't care. I don't care what it is. You can be like a piece of trash and it has a random word on it. Like the other day, I was walking and I saw it was like a chip bag that someone had thrown on the ground, and it literally said the whole shebang. And then I don't know why, cause that's not a common thing for people to say, but someone said it, and I was just like, huh, maybe that was a sign. They're talking to me. And I know I sound crazy and I sound really easily manipulated or whatever, but to me it makes sense. I'm just gonna write really quick. I'm zoning out, trying to do two things at once, and it's not really going that well for me, but we're still going to move forward with it. Okay, that's done. And so for my weekly spreads, I also do I pull 3 cards for each day, so I'm just going to be shuffling for a minute and trying to do that while I talk, which means that I can do 2 things at once. Finally, I'm just going to shuffle really quick. Whoa, okay. usually do the rambly type of posts. I think hopefully this isn't annoying to hear in the background, the shuffling, but I'm still gonna do it. Whew. And yeah, I feel like I'm on a journey here, and I'm trying to be optimistic and not let fear talk me out of something that would potentially be good for me. And I'm trying my best to take things as they come, and very much in the mind of a phrase that kept popping up a lot for me this past week was leap and the net will appear. And I am leaping, and I have leapt already. I don't want to get into that too specifically, but I have leapt, and the net was actually not a net. It was more like, you know, like when they do the movie stunts where the guy falls off the side of the building or whatever, and they land on that giant inflated pad. Yeah, it was like that. It wasn't a net. It was one of those things. And I'm so glad. It's one of those moments where I was definitely panicking a little bit. Like low-key panicking, not full out, you know, because I'm trying to trust that, you know, things will work out for me. Because they always have so far. Like, I haven't ever been destitute or in any danger or anything like that, you know. But, you know, I was feeling a little bit of a squeeze, and thankfully the squeeze unsquozed, and my net was bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I know that the rest will work itself out. And I have time to let it work itself out. In the meantime, I'm taking the steps that I need to take and meeting the universe halfway, so to speak. The Fool card just came out with the King of Pentacles, and let's see what the last card is. Ten of Swords. Okay, we see what's happening. This is an interesting week for me, I see. So I always do this every week, and I have for like a year or so. And so I always start with, you know, the universe. I get those 5 cards, and that's like the tone for the week. And then I pull, I shuffle through, and whatever falls out, that's what it is for each day. And so I have 3 cards for each day. And so what I usually do is I have the main card, and then I have 2 cards for clarification. And I try to like make a little story out of it or string them together. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I usually write like a little 1-sentence horoscope, I guess, kind of thing. And it's been scarily accurate for pretty much the whole time. Like, I have like journal entries, and I'll go back and look at that spread for the day, and it literally matches up with exactly what was going on. So I feel like I'm actually a little bit psychic. It's just feeding the delusion that I'm a psychic, and that's fine, you know. I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable being psychic. This is for Friday. This is where I start to like get distracted, and I regret my decision to do this while I'm trying to record, but we're gonna roll with it. That's what we do. That's what I do now. I'm a roll with it kind of person. Not really. I try to be. I try my best to let things be what they are. I really do. I'm embracing it, leaning in a little bit more. Like this Friday spread, phenomenal. I'm all in on it. Like, I'm all the way in on it. It's okay. 10 of Cups, the High Priestess, and 6 of Cups. That's a good one. And it's a Friday. Like, that's a good Friday. But if you guys have ever been interested in tarot and you have like tarot cards, you should definitely consider doing it, because it does help you get more familiar with the deck. Like within the last year or so, I haven't really been consulting the little booklet as much. Like sometimes I will if I'm like really stuck for an interpretation, but for the most part I pretty much remember what the cards are now. So like if you are trying to get more into tarot and, you know, trying to learn the cards and what they mean and how to interpret them, do that, because looking at the cards for every single week, like, you're looking at them all and you're familiarizing yourself with it, and it also helps you get friendlier with the deck. Yes, I am one of those people who believes that you link with the deck the more you use it. And like, it's in pretty good shape. Is this tape? Yeah, I did put tape on there. Okay, that's me. Okay. I am so easily distracted right now. It's so funny. But yeah, so that's what I do. I look day by day. I'll put the date and what day it is, and then write down the cards, and then I'll write like a 1-sentence blurb. What would I think it means? And more often than not, I'm right. There's been a few times where I've just been completely off, and sometimes I can't come up with what it means, and so I sort of just like leave it blank, and then when I get to that day, usually it'll become obvious what it was supposed to mean, and I'll go back and like write it, or, you know, just leave it blank sometimes, because, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's all for me anyway, and I know what it meant at the time, and that's all that matters. Hopefully the sound is good. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to like keep it away from the cards, which I'm not shuffling anymore, but still I'm trying to not have my pen clicking and the papers rustling in the background, but we'll see. Hopefully the sound is actually decent. That's not Saturday, that's Sunday. Oh my god. This is what happens when I try to do two things at once. I also like writing it out longhand because, I don't know, I feel like it's sort of like when you take notes. You know, they tell you typing it is fine, but like you should definitely handwrite it, because for some reason it sticks a little bit better. And again, that's me trying to connect with the cards and learn the meanings, and I feel like writing it down helps me a little bit more. Also, I just really like handwriting things, and my handwriting is actually pretty nice. So how often do you get to write anymore? Like, be honest, when was the last time you hand wrote something? Do that. Handwrite things. Write yourself a letter, or write like a thing. Just write something by hand. Oh, also, I started reading The Artist's Way, of course. Kept popping up for me, and I finally bit the bullet, got the book, and I've been leaning into that, which was part of the whole push for me to do what I'm doing and step through that doorway and finally commit myself to actually doing the thing that I said I wanted to do. I just realized there's so many people walking in the background on these videos, and I don't know if I should blur their faces out. I don't really know how to do that. This is a one-woman show kind of thing, so, and I'm self-taught, which is why the editing is what it is sometimes. And I just realized that there are people walking in the background that I don't know if I should, I don't know how to blur their faces, to be honest. They're just gonna have to be in the video. I wasn't even aware of how many people were walking around me, which is so funny. I love my headphones, the big cans. They are truly a godsend. Like, it basically puts me in my own little universe, and I was in my own little universe. I'm like sidetracked now watching myself. I'm not even doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing anymore. I actually really loved this park that I was in. So it was actually, the park was sort of designed to be like a meditative walking trail sort of thing. And so it's shaped in a spiral, and there's lots of like loop-de-loops, and there's all these different like pathways that you can take around and up and or over and whatever. And it's really cool, and it's really nice. And I like the fact that it was meant to be meditative. Like there's even a section where it's all like not gravel but like rocks. They're like not big rocks, but like good sized rocks. And I always questioned why they did that until I realized it's literally to make you slow down when you're walking. Because like you can't run over the rocks, because like I said, it's not small gravel, like driveway gravel, it's like medium sized rocks. And so you literally have to like walk. You can't run over it. Like people run on this little trail a lot through the park, and that's like the one part that you literally have to walk over, because you will, I know well, maybe it's just me with my weak ankles or whatever, but trying to walk quickly over it did not go well for me. And it literally, I realize now, it's meant to make you slow down and pause, and it's like right next to where the water is, so it's like really cute. And there's always like birds, and sometimes I don't know what they're called. Are they woodchucks? Groundhogs? What are those things that look like sentient loaves of sourdough? They're like brown, and they're like stumpy legs. They don't have tails like they do. They're like nubby tails. What are those? I don't know what they're called. I always call them sourdough loaves because they literally look like loaves of sourdough with like feet, and they run so fast. But like those things are always there, whatever they are. I think they're cute. Oh, I love that stretch, by the way. This is a good one. But anyway, yeah, it's a really nice park, and it's a nice trail. And while I was here, I had just finished recording this video, and I was sitting on, there's like 2 benches there. I think you can kind of see one behind me. But I was sitting on the bench, and this girl came and she started doing yoga, and I was like, yeah, get into it. And it's just a really nice spot, and I've seen people like working out in the same spot. I like how I ended up talking about something completely different. It was exactly what I wanted to fill the time. And I'm distracted watching myself. I'm judging my form, which I shouldn't be. I used to not even be able to get that far into the stretch. Like, even if it's not that impressive to anyone else watching, I'm impressed, because I used to not be able to do any of these like stretches. And like, this is 1 year officially of me doing yoga, like regularly doing yoga, because I had dabbled for a while where I would like do it for like, every once in a blue moon, but like this past year I've been way more regular with my practice, and it shows, and I'm very proud of that. Like, I used to be so inflexible, like I literally couldn't even touch my toes. And the fact that I can go through an entire 40-minute almost flow just from my own freestyling, whatever you call that. I've come a long way in my year. I know it's not that impressive, and like I know most of my videos are me doing the same postures, but the reason why I'm doing that, I am trying to incorporate new ones, but the reason why I keep doing the same postures is so that I can go back to my earlier videos and I can like make a comparison and say, because I get in my head a lot and I'm like, oh, I'm not progressing, I'm not doing anything, like, you know, I feel like I'm just in the same place. But then looking back, I see how much I've grown and how much I've improved, and it gives me like a reminder. It offers me a little more perspective that I didn't have before. Also, while I was recording this, there was, in the beginning, you see there's a guy with a stroller. He literally walked all the way around and then was just like sort of hanging out on the opposite side and like lingering, and I felt weird about it, which is why I sort of just like turned up my music a little bit and just tried to like zone him out, because I felt weird. But anyway, I'm just really proud of my progress, and I never thought that I would ever be doing anything even remotely close to something like this, but here we are. We are here. And if anyone is actually watching this, which debatable, I would like to say thank you. I've probably said this 1,000 times and I will say it 1,000 more. Thank you for joining me, for sitting with me. And I guess I'm gonna end this. It looks like I'm wrapping up. And so, as we always do, before we head out into the universe and return to the hustle and bustle, let's go ahead and take a deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Hopefully something resonated within all of the rambling, and be well, everyone. Thank you again.